Rick Green is a former Texas state representative. He's a national speaker, author, and a radio host. Rick and his family travel the nation speaking on America's forgotten history and heroes, with an emphasis on moral, religious, and constitutional heritage. Rick and David Barton co-host the national daily radio program Wall Builders Live. Rick's the author and executive producer of Constitutional Live, America's most engaging and entertaining study of the U.S. Constitution. Rick and his wife, Kara, founded Patriot Academy, an elite leadership training program specializing in applied civics with a biblical, historical, and constitutional foundation. Through their Constitution Coach program, they are training and empowering adults across the nation to educate their communities about the Constitution. Rick's a great friend, and he's really proven helpful as we've pursued the Texas transactional currency. So I want to welcome you, Rick, to the Economic War Room.
Hey, Kevin, good to be with you, man. I'd lock shields with you anytime, anywhere. So I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you're a good man. Hey, I just saw something from PragerU. It reports that 16% of Gen Z adults are proud to live in America, compared to 73% of baby boomers. What do you think has happened to cause our young people to be so much less patriotic?
Fully expected, man. We've been pouring the poison of cultural Marxism into our education system for decades now, man. 20 years ago, I was fighting that. And when I was a state rep in Texas, there were already textbooks in the great state of Texas that basically said that, socialism, communism, capitalism, just three equal ways to form a society. Just pick which one you want. That's the type of moral relativism in terms of how a nation is set up that we've been teaching to the kids. So, listen, they've been taught America's bad, it's evil, that we've got a terrible track record, all of these lies. And of course, we're just like any other nation in terms of we're made up of humans. So we, of course, have sin in our history. But when you compare it to the rest of the world and the rest of history, greatest, most powerful, most benevolent nation in the history of the world. But yet these kids aren't proud of it because they've been lied to about who we are. Ronald Reagan warned about this. He said, if we forget what we did, we won't know who we are. He said he was warning of an eradication of the American spirit because of an erosion of the American memory, and that's exactly what we've done.
Yeah, well, you work with young people all the time. I mean, that's the exact same Gen Z age range and so forth. So it's not the kids who've changed, it's the rest of us. Is that right?
That's right. Absolutely right. And I'm spoiled, Kevin. I get to be with the cream of the crop every year. So I get these kids that have been raised in families that are patriotic, that the parents still teach the things that Reagan was talking about, just basically tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything in our history. And so I get to be around these kids that really want to be the difference makers. They're the remnant, if you will. And we take them and we train them and equip them. We teach them how to be leaders. We teach them how to communicate. We teach them how to fight, ethically, how to go into their culture and be difference makers. And so, yeah, that's honestly, that's why I'm more optimistic than most people, because I go out and I get to be around these kids and I get to see what God's doing and what he's raising up. So that makes me a lot more optimistic than most people today.
You know, when Marnie and I have traveled the country and I've spoken a lot of different places, you can always tell a Hillsdale kid, right? Somebody that's gone through Hillsdale College makes a difference. You can always tell a Patriot Academy kid. Define Patriot Academy for our viewers.
Well, we've got a mission. It's a big mission. We believe we can accomplish it, but it's a mission to educate a nation, literally restoring biblical perspective on the issues, just basically saying what's the secret sauce that made America so great in the first place, and how do we restore that secret sauce? And we're doing it one family at a time. We're doing it one community at a time. We have churches and schools and all kinds of organizations that are using our materials to teach these things. And then when young people come to our leadership congresses around the country, it gives us a chance to really hone them in. But we're optimistic, again, as I say, because we know the laws of nature and nature's God don't change. The principles don't change. What changes is if we don't teach them, or if we do teach them. We can get good stuff or we can get bad stuff. Garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff in, good stuff out. We're trying to put a lot of good stuff into the culture.
Well, you mentioned Leadership Congress. I've also got Constitution Coach, Constitutional Defense, and Biblical Citizenship. But just define what Leadership Congress is.
Yeah, so we've got these different silos, if you will, of things that we're doing to impact the culture. And Leadership Congress is our flagship. That's what we started back when I was a state rep in Texas. I was frustrated. I was actually ready to just give it up and say, forget it. There's too many people here that are elected that don't have core convictions, that have no values, that are driving what they're doing. They're just, finger to the wind, whatever's popular. And my dad was the one that suggested, why don't you, do a program where you can bring kids into the Capitol and teach them founding principles.
Let's watch a video on that. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Welcome to Patriot Academy. This is the state capitol in Idaho. Behind me, you see the House chamber. That's where students get the opportunity to come and debate the major issues of the day. We do Patriot Academies not only at the Idaho State Capitol, but all over the country. And it's an opportunity for young leaders to learn how to be good citizens, to learn how a constitutional republic actually works, to get good biblical worldview, get speaking skills, all the things that they need to be effective leaders in every area of the culture. Get signed up today and join us at a Patriot Academy in a state capitol near you.
Man, Rick, what I wouldn't have given, several decades ago to have gone through something like that. I mean, that is heaven. I hung out with Cleon Skousen, who's taught us about the Constitution, but how much more fun to have gotten to actually play it out, to be there in the capitals and do that. That's amazing.
Well, in fact, that's exactly right. You get to learn from people that are basically the Cleon Skousens of today, and then turn around and apply it on the House floor in that discussion, in that debate, and that entire process, so that then they're good at being citizens. And then a lot of them go home and run. We got graduates in Congress and state legislatures across the country. And now we're even training military veterans and putting them on the House floor and giving them the chance to do the same thing. And just to put you on the spot while we're on the air, Kevin, you got to come speak this year, man. I would love for you and Marnie to come down and spend a day or two with us during the Academy. I think you'd absolutely love it.
I love it. Well, we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the other programs that you've got at Patriot Academy.
I'm Kevin Sorbo. When you spend money, you consider who you're buying from and the causes they support. If you don't, then you're likely supporting companies that are trying to destroy our country and take away our freedoms. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They're a cell phone company and a good one. They offer nationwide coverage on the best 4G and 5G networks, along with 100% US-based customer support. But here's the deal. Patriot Mobile's mission has nothing to do with cell phones. They carry out their mission by giving back millions of dollars every year to Christian conservative causes that are actively engaged in the fight to save America. Voting is no longer enough to beat the woke. We have to band together, support like-minded companies, and vote with our dollars. That's how we win. Stop supporting companies that want to destroy America and join Patriot Mobile today by visiting patriotmobile.com or call 972-PATRIOT.
We're speaking with Rick Green about Patriot Academy, and they've got these amazing programs. Leadership Congress, we just talked about just before the break. Constitution Coach, Constitutional Defense, and Biblical Citizenship. Rick, tell us, what is a constitutional coach? What is that?
Yeah, man, it's a chance for any American citizen that wants to be part of the solution to join us. They don't have to know anything about the law or history or the Constitution yet. They can join us for free. We'll train them. In fact, when they host their first class, that's when they really learn. All they got to be able to do is turn on the power, hit play. The videos will do the teaching and bring the expertise from folks like David Barton and Kirk Cameron, who teaches on the monument, and all kinds of other folks teaching that stuff. And then I teach the Constitution itself in Independence Hall, which kind of brings it to life. I hate boring history and boring government classes. I slept through that stuff in school. So we work really hard at bringing it to life. And a coach is the person in a community, in a church, or in a neighborhood that brings people together and does the class. And it's rewarding for them. It's rewarding for the community. And Kevin, we've now got 25,000 of those Constitution coaches across the country. I get to hear the testimonials every day of thousands of classes out there where people are getting excited. They're realizing, wow, there are solutions to the problems in our community and in our country right now, and there's something I can do about it. And maybe the best part, they look around the room and they go, wow, I'm not alone. There are other people that care about this, and they're getting engaged. So I'm really excited about the coach program. We've only been doing that a couple of years. Well, I guess 4 years now. So in 4 years, we've gone from no coaches or a handful of coaches to 25,000. I think that's going to continue to explode because people are hungry to learn these things.
Well, God bless the Tea Party, and they've had an impact. But this is even better. My dad, the reason I knew Cleon Skousen, my dad was on the board of the National Center for Constitutional Studies, and he went around to every Baptist church in Oklahoma and taught them the Constitution. And he had this massive VCR, and he'd hit play. And so it wasn't overly interactive, but I sat there over and over filling in the blanks on the courses. But when he started, Oklahoma was 100% blue state. And when he finished, Ronald Reagan got the majority of the votes. We elected 2 senators that were Republican, and it went deep red thereafter. Not because Republican is better, but because Constitution is better.
That's right. That's right. Man, you just described exactly the formula. I mean, what your dad did is essentially paved the way for what we're doing right now in communities all over the nation. We want Constitution coaches in every area. Red, blue, doesn't matter. There are patriots all over this nation. I just got back from California with 200 patriots in a guy's backyard talking about these things. They're all over the nation, and exactly what your dad did is exactly what we're doing. The principles haven't changed. These things work, but people have to learn them. And the truth, once it gets sewn in, we get the good results. But it takes work, and anybody can do it. So people out there that want to be a part of this, just raise your hand and say, I want to be a Constitution coach. Go to Patriot Academy, get signed up. We'll come alongside you.
That's amazing. And so they can have it in their backyard. You can have it at a church, in your small group. A bunch of guys that get together and watch football. They could do their Constitution coach stuff, and then they could go to watch the football game afterwards. That is a brilliant idea. And the more we can train, the faster we take this nation back to the truth of the Constitution.
And Kevin, we could spend all day, man. I could tell you story after story after story where they did exactly what you're talking about. And let's say, in one instance, it was a commissioner seat came up for the county. Somebody resigned or whatever. So they're sitting around after the Constitution class going, hey, we need to find somebody to run. Joe, why don't you run? Well, if I run, I need help. Okay, well, I'll do signs or I'll raise money or whatever. And then out of that, they got somebody to run. They win. We've taken over, I've forgotten how many school boards now, county commissioners, city councils, water districts, you name it. And it's because we need each other. We're built for community. And when you come together and you do this class, you realize, wow, this really does work. You get a team and folks that you want to work with. I love it, man. And again, it's part of why I'm so optimistic, because we know this works. We're seeing it happen all over the country. It's really a revolution or a revival of patriotism and constitutional education that then ends up with the result of good policy in the community.
So you're training young people, which is fabulous. You're giving adults a chance for them to actually get in the game themselves and participate and learn. What's exciting to me is you learn your rights under the Constitution, and you won't put up with the garbage that the government is sometimes trying to foist on us. Well, I think it's great. All right, so let's go to constitutional defense, which is both intellectual training and something else. Describe what constitutional defense is.
Yeah, that's one of our most popular programs, and it still comes out of this idea from John Jay, first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, that said you got to know your rights. So you got to study the Constitution. What you just said, you know your rights, you'll perceive when they're violated, and be the better prepared to defend and assert them. He said, and so we see that in every area of the culture. This one specifically is defending your family. God forbid if it ever happens, but listen, there's 4 million violent crimes in America every year, and crimes going through the roof because of these blue cities and bad policies and all of that. So we want people to be able to live out the Second Amendment, actually be able to defend their family if they have to. James Wilson was one of the guys that gave us the Constitution and the Declaration, original Supreme Court justice. He said, if you're robbed in your home, it's your fault. Every man's house is his castle. We're responsible to defend our castle. So this course became very popular because I went through one similar to this 10 years ago, and it woke me up. I'm a type A person. When I was a rep, I was the God and Guns guy. Charlton Heston did an ad for me. I mean, I was promoting the Second Amendment, doing all that, but I wasn't carrying my weapon because I wasn't trained. And had that happen, if I'd had an incident where my home was attacked or my family was attacked or I was in the restaurant where a wolf came in, I wouldn't have been able to defend my family, Kevin. I would have been the fool from Proverbs 27:12. It says that a wise person foresees danger and takes precaution. A simpleton walks blindly on and suffers the consequences. I was that fool, that simpleton for 40 years of my life. And then I went through this training and it woke me up. And so I'm on a mission to train as many sheepdogs as possible across this nation. We trained 5,000 people in just the last few years. It's handgun defense during the day, Constitution training in the evenings. It's a great combination. We do it in Fredericksburg, Texas, right there at our new Patriot Academy campus, and we invite everyone to come. Most of the people that we train are women. 55% are women. The other 45% are drugged there by their wives, by the way. But it's mostly people that never touched a gun, never had anything like this. And by the end of this training, they're confident, they're equipped, they're able then to defend if they want to carry, great. If they don't, we recommend that they do. We think you ought to be prepared wherever you are. But I'm telling you, it's another one of those programs where we just see the evidence. We're not guessing here. We know what happens. We know how much this changes lives and improves lives. So it's called Constitutional Defense of Your Family and Freedom, and they can check it out at the website today, patriotacademy.com. We're doing classes every week.
Oh, it's great. In fact, I watched a video of you when you walked in your home. It was set up to you walked in your home, and there was an intruder there threatening your family, and you hesitated. And I know it was acted for that purpose. But that's how all of us would be without training. So we're going to need to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about the other program and then your new campus. Talking with Rick Green about Patriot Academy and all the great programs they're doing, but I was able to attend one of their dinners that they had. It had Kirk Cameron as the speaker. It was phenomenal, very patriotic. It's fun here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And they unveiled this new campus that they're building. Tell us about that, Rick. What's it like?
Yeah, Kevin, and that was just, 6 months ago. We had just gotten the land, just contracted for the land, and already in 6 months, we have the ranges built for that constitutional defense course we were talking about. We're building the classrooms. We're going to be rebuilding Independence Hall, Monticello.
Wait. Rebuilding Independence Hall? What do you mean?
Well, I want everyone to go through. I teach the Constitution class in Philly in the real Independence Hall sometimes, and I want everybody to be able to do that. But, right now you go to Philly, you're probably going to get shot. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So we decided we want to have a place in Texas where you can experience that without having to go to Philadelphia. So we're rebuilding Independence Hall because, frankly, man, that the principles in the Declaration of Independence, that's where it's at. That's the formula for restoring our nation. And 3 years from right now is going to be the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And over the next 3 years, we're going to really be emphasizing how to rebuild those principles, but we're going to build Independence Hall in the meantime, and we'll unveil it on July 4th, 2026 on the 250th anniversary, and we'll have the first class in that room right there on the campus. And then from then on, folks will be able to come to Fredericksburg and study the Constitution in the room where it was created, or at least a replica of that room.
Yeah, it's amazing. You mentioned Monticello. What do you mean by Monticello?
Well, we wanted to rebuild Jefferson's home because we wanted to have a place where our Constitutional Defense Center could be housed, where we're going to defend the Bill of Rights. We're going to be defending the Constitution and the Declaration from an intellectual perspective. In other words, we want to be ready and able when there's an attack on those principles to respond with good media as we continue to train these young people and these coaches as they come to the campus. So we want them to kind of be able to walk through these colonial buildings. The rotunda of the U.S. Capitol, our Welcome Center is going to be an exact replica of that with the 8 paintings and the statues that all tell the story of America. Basically a place, I call it the Disneyland for Patriots, a place where people can come and experience the American story with other families from across the nation, get excited about what this nation's really all about and what those principles are, and then go back to their communities and sow that into their communities. So we're excited about it. It's going to take us several years to get this thing built, but we're moving fast. People can even come right now and spend that week with us doing the Constitutional Defense course. And then another cool thing, Kevin, that we're doing for the campus is a 1-year program for young people. Up until now, for 20 years now, 23 years, we've had these students for 1 week in a state capitol somewhere across the country. Imagine if we had them for 1 year. Constitutional grounding, life skills, leadership skills, the camaraderie they're going to build with those other young leaders from across the nation, the training and the opportunity to find their purpose, figure out what the desire is that God's put into their heart, and then go into business or politics or the arts or whatever it is, but be really good citizens when they do that and be the leaders of those industries. You want to get rid of all these woke policies and these woke corporations out there? Let's send good people into those fields as well. So that's what we're going to do with the campus. It's going to be absolutely incredible, and we're doing it right here in Texas. Fredericksburg, Texas will be that home.
Deep in the heart of Texas. I do love that. But when you mentioned the 1-year program, Marnie's and my daughter went to a 1-year worldview, biblical worldview program. It was fabulous for her. She loved it, learned so much, made great friends. She did get some college credit out of that, and that became her freshman year. Are you doing some kind of program like that?
Exactly. Yeah, man, we're teaming up with, in fact, there's only about 10 universities and colleges that I recommend these days because all the rest have gone woke, but we're teaming up with some of them so that while the student's on campus for that year, they can knock out almost double what they would do on a college campus, 30 to 60 hours, depending on their degree, because we're really good at doing the CLEP tests and all the other things, plus having some of these professors from these colleges pipe in online or come visit so that they can get those hours at that time. A lot of the kids won't do a college degree because, frankly, I think it's a scam unless you're going into a particular degree field. And so for the ones that aren't going into medicine or law or engineering or whatever it might be, we don't even want them to waste time on college. We want them be an apprentice with someone that's doing what they want to do. But for those that do need the college degree, absolutely, 100% what you're talking about will happen on the campus.
Well, that's fantastic. It's an investment in liberty. I mean, we talk all the time about liberty, security, and values, and you embody all three. Liberty, you teach people how to enjoy their liberty. Security, you tell them how to protect their liberty, and then you drill in values. It's just an amazing combination of things. So where do people learn more about Patriot Academy?
PatriotAcademy.com, and then just all the different things we've talked about today. Click on the one that interests you if you want to come do that handgun defense course and not hesitate like I did in my first simulation, which is that video you're talking about. You want to be able to defend your family, come do that course immediately. Don't wait on that because you don't know when something like that's going to happen. If you want to start coaching a class, easy to do, sign up. You can do that immediately. If you want to send a young person to one of our programs, there's a few left this summer that you can send them to, but you can also be getting them ready for next summer as well. You can sponsor a military veteran or a young person to go through those programs. If you want to just make a donation and help us out, you can do that. All of those things are available at PatriotAcademy.com.
Well, it's great. It is an investment, liberty, security, and values. I'm so excited to be working more closely with you. I've been a big fan for a long time, but hope we can do more and more things together. And I want you to come visit us at Liberty Hawk Ranch. We had some of your family come out here for a Christians Engaged event that we had. We're training financial advisors. As you're training people to protect their constitutional defense, we're training them how to protect their money and to use their money not as an end in itself, but as a weapon to defend their liberty. So there are three things you can do with your money. You can give, you can spend, and you can invest. And you've got give. A great place to give is Patriot Academy. You even spend. You've got some great things in your store that people can spend money on, or they can take your courses or whatever, and they will train financial advisors to help them invest. So I hope you'll come visit us here at Liberty Hawk Ranch.
I look forward to it. Carrick told me all about it. I was very jealous that she and my daughter got to come first and spend some time with y'all, but they loved it, and we can't wait to do something. And Kevin, I think you're right. I mean, all the things that we can do together, not only training those young people, but these coaches need to be learning how to do all the things that you're talking about. So our coaches, like you said, are doing the constitutional defense and learning how to do that intellectual ammunition of basic these freedom principles, but we need to be applying that in the money area as well. And just like you're talking about, redirecting their dollars to companies that support our values and support what we're doing, and away from these woke companies that are undermining it. So there's so much that we can be doing together, not only with the young people, but with our coaches as well.
Yeah, well, it is an economic war. That's absolutely what it is, and they're using our money against us. So we're fighting CBDC and all the other unconstitutional things. I've got a new book coming out. It's called Pirate Money, and you can see it at piratemoneybook.com when that's ready. It'll be out in just a few weeks, so mark that place. But you can learn more about Rick Green and Patriot Academy at patriotacademy.com. And you can get the battle plan. Every episode that we do on the Economic War Room, we produce a free economic battle plan. You can download that from economicwarroom.com. In fact, you can sign up and you can get the battle plan sent to you every week. So remember, what we see as a marketplace, our enemies view as a battle space. Thank God for people like Rick Green and groups like Patriot Academy that can help us win in the battle space. This is Kevin Freeman from the Economic War Room.